I wish this was a real kitty. Mm, mm. It's ugly dolls, right? Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the movie. It looks stupid. And not the good kind of stupid, the bad kind of stupid. Pop songs galore. Alright, so up to bat, we have Mr. Hang on, I can do this. Shuno Kurohi. I did it! I did it, ma! I'm not sure if you've written for me before. If you have, I'm sorry if I've forgotten. But, Mr. Shuni here has made me a fanfic based off a drawing that I did of a little fairy girl. So, gonna be interesting to see how that is. It's called Himar Space. No Fae-ce in the Crowd. 'Cause of Fairies. I don't get it. Minnie Angelbright was excited, like she always is. Over the weekend, her mom had invited the new neighbors over for lunch, and they told Sadie that they had a daughter around Minnie's age, and were wanting her to be enrolled in the same elementary school. When asked why, they responded that she was a special case. Minnie's special too, but I don't think it the same way. Sadie promised that she could pull a few strings and that their daughter would probably be in Minnie's homeroom. She threatened the teacher! Now it was Monday, and the pink-bowed girl was physically vibrating in her seat. The bell rang, and the class's teacher entered with a covered box. Good morning, class. We have a new student here today. I hope you can give her a warm welcome. The teacher set the box down and pulled off the cover. Everyone craned their heads forward to see what was inside the container. And then there's a picture of the little fairy girl I drew here. It's cute. It was a purple fairy girl, about the size of a crayon. Oh, that is tiny. She had bright green eyes and wings, as well as a purple leaf dress with gold rings decorating her body. She fluttered her wings and pushed up on the container lid to open it. She landed on the teacher's desk and gave a bow. Okay. Minnie's voice is already high-pitched, so let's see if I can make it more high-pitched. Oh, God. Greetings! I am Naya Kamora Eltura Shezerbacher. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Let me know if I got that name right. The class stared at the small fairy before snickering. Naya cocked her head in confusion. Did I say something wrong? The teacher gave a glare at the class before looking down at the fairy. No, I suppose it's because they haven't seen anyone so small before. Now I'd like you to pick someone to... Me! Minnie called out, waving her hands over her head like an idiot. The teacher sighed. If you wish, you may sit with Miss Angelbright. Naya nodded before flying over to Minnie's desk. She sat down with her legs crossed as she looked up at Minnie. Oh, you are the daughter of Miss Sadie, correct? Minnie nodded. Wilhelmina Bethany Angelbright, but you can call me Minnie. It's really nice to meet you. She extended a finger towards Naya, who shook it with both her hands. It's a pleasure to meet you as well, Wilhelmina. Minnie gave her an odd look. I actually prefer Minnie. You call her whatever you want. Naya nodded. Apologies. My father, Richard, is not too fond of me using nicknames. Something about his co-workers calling him an inappropriate name. Minnie nodded before pausing. Wait. The two people that came over the weekend were human. How come you aren't? Naya gave a sad smile at this. It is because I am unable to perform magic as well as my parents. They arrived with a glamour over them to meet your mother, and I am still at the age that my magic has not fully blossomed. I hope you do not think lower of me because of that. Minnie smiled as she stroked Naya's back. No, of course not. I still have difficulty with a lot of things. Math, science, social cues. It's funny because it's true. But that just means that I can improve on them. I'm sure you'll have plenty of opportunities to improve on your magic. So don't give up, okay? Naya looked at Minnie and smiled. Thank you. Well, Nanny? The two girls giggled before the sound of a throat clearing brought their attention back to the teacher. If you two are finished introducing yourselves, I would like to start class now. Miss Scheisenbacher, even if you're new, I expect you to take notes. Miss Angelbraid can loan you some paper and a pencil, but I expect your own supplies to be brought by tomorrow. Now let's begin. At recess, the class was scattered around the playground. Most of the girls, however, were sitting at a picnic table, properly introducing themselves to Naya. Oh dear. We're gonna meet everyone. So you're an actual, for real fairy? Pixie Manica excitedly asked. I thought all the fairies were drifting out of Fector City after that Gnome War got out of hand. How come your folks aren't allowed to come back in? Beside her was her sister her sister Fariel held the dolphin girl Selvi in a bear hug to prevent her from trying to eat Naya. Nah, nah, nah. Despite the former looking like she was dead asleep. The small fairy blushed, which was impressive given that she was practically blush-colored anyway, and nodded. My parents made an agreement with your mayor. In exchange for moving here, they would assist with ensuring that another war would not come to fruition. Pixie nodded. Okay, that makes sense. So can you perform wishes? How old are you in human years? Do your wings grow back if they're torn? Do you? Pixie, enough! Minnie shouted. You're going to overload her brain with all those questions. The magical girl gave a sheepish grin. Sorry. It's just really exciting to see a fairy in the flesh. I never thought I'd have this opportunity. A fairy? A voice sneered. Oh no. The group looked up to see Clarette approaching. Oh no. She made her way up to the table and slammed her hands down, causing Naya to fall over. Doesn't look too tough to me. A bit on the small side, however. What's the matter, little fairy? Scared? Naya wobbled her way back up and cocked her head at Clara. Why would it be that I would be scared, she asked. Clarette scoffed. You are in the presence of one of the greatest heirs of draconian blood to live, and you are no larger than a carrot stick. If I were not struck under the watch of that accursed sorceress. Here she eyed the teacher, reading the book using her magic. I would not hesitate to crush you like the bug you are. Minnie gasped. Clarette, you can't say something like that. She's our new friend. As the two were arguing, Naya remembered an urban legend her grandmother told her. She made her way over to Clarette's hand, placed her hand on it, then ... Yeep! Clarette shrieked as she pulled her hand back. The imprint of Naya's tiny hand was left on it, like a small brand. The dragon girl looked down at Naya in shock, while the fairy simply replied, I guess that myth was true. Dragons are allergic to fairies. That's interesting. I like that. The playground went quiet, save for Pixie taking notes on what happened. You got Pixie down right, I can tell you that much. Claret sputtered before leaning down in front of Naya. You realize that they only like you because you're cute and tiny, new kid. I give you a week tops before they get bored of you. Then you'll just be another filler character in this class. With that, Claret turned away and walked off. That's a line I would have actually used. Whoa, I've never seen anyone stand up to Claret like that. Naya, that was Pixie paused as she realized Naya wasn't there anymore. Naya? The group looked around for their small friend to no avail. The bell for the end of recess rang, and the class headed back to class. They sure did. As Minnie passed by the janitor's closet, she could hear what sounded like tiny crying. She opened the door to see Naya, sitting on top of a stack of toilet paper, crying her eyes out. Aww, poor Fairy. Minnie walked over and scooped Naya up in her hands. Aww. It's a pencil sharpener. Come on. You didn't take Claret's words to heart, did you? You're more than some curio for people at Gawker. You're a real special person. Naya sniffed and sighed. You're just saying that. Minnie shook her head. Nuh-uh. I know that someday you're gonna become someone amazing. Let's get back to class before the teacher notices we're gone. Naya gave a weak nod as Minnie carried her out of the janitor's office. I want to hold the fairy. Can I hold the fairy? However, another figure was coming in and bumped into Minnie. They both fell as Minnie rubbed her head with her free hand. Oh. Ooh. She realized who she ran into. Ooh. Christine? Minnie sputtered as her blonde crush stood up and dusted herself off. Naya looked up at Christine, then back at Minnie, who had hearts in her eyes. Christine took notice of the little fairy and leaned down. Oh, hi there. You must be the new kid in Minnie's class. I'm Christine, Minnie's neighbor. Hope we can see each other around sometime. Naya nodded at Christine before pausing. You are neighbors with Minnie? My family as well. We recently moved here. Well, my name is Naya Kamura Eltora Schezenbacher. Hey, I said it right this time. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Christine smiled at this. Oh, that makes things easier. Anyway, have to grab a mop. The snail kids are trying to race. Again. I suggest avoiding the main hall. Naya smiled and nodded, while Minnie gave a dopey nod. You're pretty when you talk words. Christine smiled and grabbed the mop and was on her way. Naya looked back over at the dumbfounded Minnie and made a slightly educated guess. Do you have feelings for Christine? Immediately, Minnie snapped back to her usual self. Who told you that? Nope, I certainly don't. Naya crossed her arms and raised an eyebrow. Really? Then why do you still have hearts in place to your eyes? Also something I would have done. Minnie quickly popped her hearts, deflating them into their regular blue. Oh, okay, I might have a crush on her, but please don't tell her. I'm kind of still gauging her preferences. Naya nodded. Fair enough. My lips are sealed. Minnie smiled, but then frowned when she looked at her watch. Oh my God! I'm wearing a watch! That's not the line, but I never known Minnie to wear a watch. What was the line? Minnie frowned as she looked at her watch. Oh, crud! We're 5 minutes late for class. Last time I was late, I had to stay after. Mom will not be happy about this. Naya frowned as well. Then we should make haste to class, before we're even later. Minnie smiled and nodded. Let's cut through the main hall. That should get us there quicker. The two got up and made their way back to class. Oh no. Sadie was waiting for the two girls once they got out of detention. Oh no. Naya's parents were understandably upset that their daughter had gotten detained her first day in school, but were attending a meeting with the mayor, so they were unable to pick her up. Sadie offered to have Naya stay with her for a few hours, and they agreed. The ride home was quiet. Well, as quiet as a motorcycle could be. You knew. Minnie carried Naya into the house and placed her on the kitchen table before taking a seat herself. Sadie walked in and leaned back onto the counter. Her glasses reflected the two. "So," she said finally, "what made you two decide to miss an entire period of class?" "It wasn't our fault, Mom," Minnie pleaded. "Clarette made Naya cry, but then I got stuck in the snail trail, then I had to clean it off with my shoes, and by that time the next period had started." Naya nodded profusely, attempting to back up her friend's claims. Sadie paused before sighing. "Okay, I'll believe you this time, if only because it sounds way too simple to be a lie. I'll tell your parents when they can pick you up, Naya. For now, I guess you two need dinner. I'd better get something cooking. Minnie, show Naya up to your room." Naya fluttered from the table and followed Minnie to her bedroom. She looked at the spacious room and gasped. "Everything's so big." "Oh, yeah, it's made to human scale. But if you were my size, it would be as big as your own room," Minnie replied. Naya nodded before asking, "Well, how do you keep it so clean? If I may be honest, I do not keep my room as tidy as yours." Minnie shrugged. "I guess it's because I store all my junk in my hammer space. But if I need something, I can just whip it out. Here." She demonstrates this by pulling out a slushie and slurping it. Yeah, Minnie would do that. Naya marveled at the display. "That is quite impressive. Well, I hope I might be able to do something like that eventually." Minnie smiled. "Don't worry. I'm sure you will someday." Naya smiled back before becoming pensive again. "Minnie, do you think Clarette might be right? That people would get bored of me?" Minnie looked her in the eye before playing. "I can't promise anything about the others, but what I can promise is that even if we stop hanging out, I'll always consider you a friend." She gave a warm smile, which Naya returned. Their discussion was interrupted by a knock on the door, or, well, more of a series of thuds. Minnie opened the door to reveal Theo, her older brother, who happens to be Pickle. You know, it happens. "Mom says soup's on. You and your friend need to wash up before getting it, though." He looked around the room. "Wait, I could have sworn there was another voice in here." Naya landed in front of Theo and sized him up. "Well, I had no idea you had an enchanted cucumber for a brother." Theo looked down at Naya in shock before looking back up at his sister. "You finally have a friend that's shorter than me? I thought I'd never live to see the day. Anyway, wash up before you come down." Thankfully, Mom decided to follow the recipe this time, so the food doesn't have tentacles like it usually does. I know what you're referencing. Minnie nodded before leading Naya towards the bathroom to wash their hands. Dinner was uneventful, aside from Sadie going off recipe for dessert, leading to an epic battle too long to put here. "I'm gonna guess it was a crab sundae with crabs." And the television they watched was the usual sitcom, with the hook being the father was a crab insurance agent. I didn't know that was written there. I made my first crab joke. I made that without reading that, I swear. When Naya's parents finally came together, Sadie explained the girl's side of the story, and they were a bit more understanding of her plight. However, there were minor deviations in plans. "Could I stay the night with Minnie?" Naya asked. Her mother and father were a bit taken aback. She had only met the neighbor girl, and she already wanted to spend the night. Naya, you realize that tonight is a school night, remember?" Her father asked. "It would be very inconsiderate to Miss Aingebright if we imposed her like this." Sadie shook her head. "Oh, it's no problem with me. She seems like a good influence on Minnie. Not to mention she can wield a fork like no one's business." Naya's mother turned to her husband. "Well, it would be nice to have the house to ourselves. Plus, Wilhelmina seems to have made our little girl more open." Naya gave her best pleading eyes before her parents relented. "All right, we can bring over her things for tonight. And Naya, treat Miss Angelbright like you would any other adult, okay?" Naya nodded. "I will. Not to worry." As soon as the door closed, Minnie and Naya squealed in excitement. Their first sleepover! Sure, they had to be in bed by 9 and the TV would be off limits. That one wasn't the point. The point was they would be able to spend time with their friend outside of school. As they headed up with snacks to Minnie's room, with Minnie carrying all the snacks, wink wink, Naya smiled, knowing that this might be a new chapter in her life, and it was all thanks to Minnie. Now, this was really cute. I see Claret now has become become a bully. It suits her. Like, I never actually got a chance to fully think of her character until I wrote it with John. So, this is an interesting way to take her. Now, this was nice. Thank you for writing this.